Hey, Marvel. Star Wars fans here. We're taking everybody. All the talent. We're taking it all. So you guys make all the good stuff? Now we're going to make all the good stuff. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody, to the Resistance broadcast. I'm John. How are you? How's everybody doing on this wonderful Monday?
That didn't sound very demanding, by the way. You were just like, hey, we're here. We're taking it.
Should I have been more aggressive?
A little bit.
You're Marvel!
Now you just sound like the bully outside my house.
Give me the people!
Stole my girlfriend.
Hey, Gillerin!
I hope that was better. But no, welcome everybody to the show. This is our Monday show. We're going to talk about what's going on in Star Wars news. Even we're going to tackle some rumors that are floating around and reveal a couple of things here in just a moment. We have a great Patreon pod race coming up. And switching things up a little bit, no questions this week because we have an interview Thursday, which we'll reveal at the end here. But we're doing Resistance Transmissions to end the show, so get your laughs ready because it's going to be a good round there. But James and Lacey with me as always. What's up, guys? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I'm excited about the interview that is coming up on Thursday. I'm excited for everybody to hear that, and I'm going to let Lacey talk here in a second. But I'm excited about some of the other announcements that you're talking about here. So hopefully those things pan out, and you'll hear about them in just a second. Just hold on. We'll get there.
My only announcement is that the egg is back. For everybody that asked last week for it, it is returned to the backdrop. Grogu in the furry egg. So enough Suga to go around for everybody.
Yoke's on you.
It really was. I was like, look at my new backdrop. And then I didn't realize my chair blocked it. And everyone was like, where's the egg? And I was like, sorry.
Before you brought it back, you were a shell of your former self. And now here you are.
Exactly.
I hate both of you. Can we please continue?
All right. Yeah, that was
any other ones? You want to get them out?
No. I don't want to turn this into a hairy situation. Okay. Before we get into some of the announcements, make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, go to weirdbrothers.com and pick up our coffee. It's called the Resistance Brew. We collaborated with a small business down in Virginia, and we made this wonderful medium roast, the Resistance Brew. You can pick it up online on their website. Just look for the Resistance Brew. Buy a bag, they'll ship it right to you, and you can have a delicious cup of coffee. And who doesn't like a nice hot cup of coffee in the winter? That is a delicious brew from a small business that you're helping out and small content creators, real small content creators. We don't pretend we're small content creators. We are real small content creators. Right? But we also want to remind you, this past Friday, we ended the Mando Fan Show Season 2. Clayton Sandell joined us for, I think, the 5th or 6th time, and we kind of did our recap of Season 2. Not recap, you know what happened in Season 2, but our kind of look back, reflect back on the season. And we gave away the Mando code giveaway. So congrats to our winner there. And the other thing we want to announce here. And by the way, thank you to everybody who joined us on those live streams. Right, guys? I mean, it
was really, really fun. It's the best
100%.
part.
That was amazing. And everyone who participated with the super chats, it helped us so much. And we look forward to doing more live streams in the future. We're going to get some virtual cantinas back. We know how much you guys love those. And some other surprise live streams we're going to get going this year. I already have some ideas in my head circulating as I speak. So,
are you trying not to say all down the line?
All down the line. All of it. But no, really, thank you, because that was such a cool venture of us to get into, and great job to both James and Lacey for how we facilitated that.
Way to host, John.
Thank you. But really, I think between all the work we put together, it really went off smoothly, because I know sometimes live streams can be a disaster, and I feel like we didn't really have that many problems, knock on wood, and hopefully next time around we don't either. So great job, guys. Pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. Yeah. But the other thing, pretty cool. So Star Wars Newsnet and the Resistance broadcast have been summoned to join the Movie Trivia Schmodown. So we're going to be getting into the Star Wars division of the Movie Trivia Schmodown, which is created by Christian Harloff and Mark Ellis, who a lot of our listeners might know from the old Collider Jedi Council, and they're doing their thing over there on the Schmodown Network. So we're entering the ring. And they're doing the draft on January 29th. and us and a bunch of the other guys from Star Wars Newsnet, my colleagues over there, our colleagues over there, are going to be drafted, and we'll see where we end up. We may be foes, maybe teammates. I'm not really sure, but it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys excited, nervous? You guys looking forward to doing some combative one-on-one Star Wars trivia with other Star Wars fans out there?
I was nervous the moment it was brought up to me, so the nervousness hasn't stopped. So we'll see where that gets me.
Yeah. I mean, I think anytime we ever do the trivia thing, we always kind of underestimate ourselves, and then we end up doing a lot better than we thought. So it kind of excites me. I know we're all going to be on our own this time. And that is also granted that we get picked. So, I mean, now is a good opportunity to kind of like help out. If you guys want to see us on the show, let the people who are making the picks know, you know what I mean? That they think we would do good, that we would be good competitors. Because it is
also
a draft,
let them know that I beat John in a little quiz we did on our own recently.
Yeah.
That's debatable, I think.
It's really not. You asked me what score I got. I told you, and you were like, I got worse than that.
That was based on streak points and stuff. We're not going to get into that right now, I don't think. But if you guys
I don't think we're going to get into
if you guys want to see how we did on trivia, we did something with our buddies at Barstool, Jeff Lowe and Lights Camera Barstool. We played that team.
Who's also involved.
Is
we're
he
still
involved?
paying that.
Yeah, him and some of those other Barstool guys are also they're doing movie trivia and also geekdom, and I think Jeff specifically is in Star Wars.
He's doing Star Wars Schmodown.
I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think you
John,
could be wrong.
Look, we're still paying for that chiropractor bill for you carrying us the team that night. But
well,
But-
go check that out because we did have fun there. And if you do feel like we did well, let people know. But as far as I know, we're in it. I'm not really sure the details, but we do want to thank Christian and Mark for reaching out to Star Wars Newsnet and getting us in the mix. We posted an article I wrote on StarWarsNewsNet.com, kind of giving you an update of what that is, the Shimodan, if you don't know what it is. But it's pretty much like a one-on-one. They also do tag teams, but like a one-on-one movie trivia head-to-head competition, and with like a little dramatic flair of like a World Wrestling Federation or WWE type thing. So
it's wrestling for movie trivia.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we look forward to getting involved with that, and as we know more details, we'll let you know. But we're very excited to get involved with that. So thanks to everybody over there at the Schmodown for letting us be a part of it. We look forward to getting in the mix. So thank you guys for that. But now it's time to get on with our show here. So the Resistance Report, James, we're not heavy on news, but we always have a good time with whatever stories we're in the mix with, right? So let's fire that thing up.
It's the Resistance.
All right, guys. This week, Deadline is actually reporting that Loki series writer and producer Michael Waldron is going to write the Kevin Feige produced Star Wars film. Now, as they say it kind of right now, it's not like he's the guy. It's that he's penning the first version of the film. So as we've seen with other properties like Kenobi, there's always a chance that this might not be the final thing. But I think one thing, just to throw a little bit of an opinion on the story right to get going, this probably bodes well for Loki. So if you're a fan of that show, they've probably looked at it, liked how it turned out, and then said, hey man, we're thinking about having you involved in Star Wars. So initially, when I hear this story, I think that they're happy with Loki, probably more than any other series. And then that this guy got the job, and at this point, it's in good hands. John, I want to run to you first. What do you think about Michael Waldron handling this kind of mysterious Kevin Feige-produced Star Wars film?
Well, first thing, I want to bring attention to the image that we used on StarWarsNewsNet.com of Michael Waldron at the D23 red carpet. It looks like a mugshot, but I think it's funny.
Well, that particular shot is actually from the latest Mission Impossible film.
Oh, okay. So he's Henry Cavill, stunt double. Yeah, he does kind of look like him. No, I do think this is good news. It's interesting what's going on here. We're seeing a pattern of a lot of things that I kind of joked at the open about, that we have a lot of Marvel talent, a lot of superhero movie talent being pulled into Lucasfilm. If you think about the next 3 Star Wars movies that are confirmed that we know about, you have Kevin Feige, Marvel, head honcho, producer, producing the movie. Now you have Michael Waldron writing it, who not only is doing the Loki series and show running that, but also he was brought in to do rewrites for the sequel to Doctor Strange, the Sam Raimi sequel. So if you're bringing in someone to do rewrites for a Sam Raimi movie, another good sign that the guy knows how to write some dialogue. So that's very exciting to hear about what he's going to bring to the table. Now, we don't know what this movie is about. We don't know anything about the story.
Time period, anything. Nothing.
Yeah, we're always thinking about here, are they going to do some sort of Avengers thing with Star Wars? And Lacey's brought up, are they going to do like the join all these series together and bring it into a head, and maybe Feige produces that? It's a lot of speculation, but either way, I think it's good news that they're bringing in talent from Marvel, and then you have Taika Waititi doing one of the movies, and Patty Jenkins from Wonder Woman in DC coming in. So all this other talent from these superhero and comic book, like all these white hot things from the past few years, Lucasfilm was like, you know what? We're going to swallow our pride and be like, we want that talent too. Come on over. Let's make it a party over here too. And I'm fine with that. I don't think that diminishes anything for Lucasfilm. I think it's just a smart move. Say, we know what works. We know that fans like what these people have done. Come on over. Let's have a party. And they've already started with Taika, obviously, with Mandalorian and stuff like that. So not too much details about this movie, so I can't get into too much more about it, but that's my take on it. It just feels like one of those sounds good type of stories to me.
Yeah, Lacey, what are your thoughts?
First of all, the funny thing is, before the Star Wars announcement here, I actually saw the announcement for the Doctor Strange thing with him first. So when I saw this story, I was like, wait, didn't they just announce this guy for Doctor Strange? And then it's the same person. First of all, the Loki series looks awesome from the trailers and stuff that we've seen so far. Tom Hiddleston is like the perfect Loki. And I think it needs to be said that Loki as a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a character that people have grown to love as a fan favorite. Like, I know people like Captain America and they like Thor. He has this like die-hard, I feel like, audience, Loki does. And it grew from Tom Hiddleston's portrayal of him. So to turn that into an entire series, they needed to get someone really good to do that, because fans would rip it apart otherwise. So the fact that this guy did Loki and now they're bringing him into Star Wars to do a film, to me says that, like John said, one, he's obviously very good, which we knew, but two, that they're really happy with how he handled this fan favorite character. So could he possibly be handling a character that people love as well? That he can say, oh, I've already done this character over here, so that means you can trust me with this character in Star Wars. So it's interesting to think about that. I think Kevin Feige is very Jon Favreau-ish, if we like to say that, where he takes people that he likes and puts them in the right positions. I think Kevin Feige does the same thing. I think maybe Jon Favreau got that from Kevin Feige. He might have learned that from him. We'll see, but they've worked together before. So like John said, it's super interesting to hear how, obviously Marvel and Star Wars are under that Disney umbrella, but there's a lot of back and forth with these people of like, this person's doing this and now they're coming over here and Taika's moving over. And I think it's super smart of Disney to keep these talented people under their umbrella of their properties, because they have had people like James Gunn jump ship and go to DC.
Yep.
And from what I see of Suicide Squad 2, it looks really good also.
James Gunn didn't really jump ship.
I mean, I don't want to get into that whole thing. I meant like he moved over to DC. I don't want to get into it. But he is now coming back again. So it's tough to keep talent around, but I think Disney, Marvel, and Lucasfilm are doing a really good job. And I trust the judgment of Kevin Feige probably more than a lot of other producers in Hollywood. I mean, he is worth so much, not only in money, but like in talent, that he's able to produce these major, major successful films that I trust his judgment. I trust what he does, what he thinks, and I think Disney does too. So if he's choosing this guy, Michael Waldron's good.
You got to think they're going to shake up that movie schedule that they have laid out.
I was actually about to ask, are there 3 movies scheduled so far?
Yeah,
so then it would
23,
be
25, and 27.
Right. So currently we can assume that it's Taika, Patty in this movie.
The
We would
Patty's
assume.
first.
Patty's first.
So Patty, Taika, then this movie.
But I'm suggesting they're ramping back up.
Interesting.
Because for me to think that this movie that they're having this guy write right now, that Kevin Feige's producing, we're not going to see it for 7 years.
No
I can't
way.
believe
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no way.
So
Yeah,
they're either doing.
We're gonna see an Apple self-driving car before we're gonna see.
Yeah. Oh boy!
Always the self-driving cars.
If you were a fly on the wall with a conversation we had off air, my nightmare realized. No, but they're either doing what I never thought they would do, which is make Star Wars feature films directly for Disney Plus, and they're going to start doing one of those a year and then one in theaters a year, or they're like, you know what, we're kind of going back to our ambition, and we're going to do one feature film a year. So we're going to start with Patty in 2023, but then we're going to go 24, 25, 26, 27. And maybe that opens the door again for the faithful of Rian Johnson, who are like, yeah, you know what? Maybe he still is making his movies. But I just don't, with the 3 movies set up here, and we know confirmed Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron is 2023. It's hard enough to believe Taika's is 5 years away. If
Do you
that's
think they'll
even
move him
true.
up?
Maybe. But to think that, like, there's no way that this 23, 25, and 27 is it. I just can't. I cannot buy that. I know movies take a long time to get developed, and sometimes movies are in early development for decades and all that craziness. But this is a thing that they're like, we're getting this guy to write. Kevin Feige's producing it. It seems a lot closer to something that will get into greenlit, into production, that I don't think we're going to wait 7 years to be seeing this thing. So
And Disney needs money right now.
Yeah, so I think we're going to, in the next year, maybe when they have that big webcast, that's going to be their next thing when we're post-pandemic. People go back to theaters just to go back to a normal sense of life. There's going to be some sort of let's rally behind the movie theaters. And guess what? We're coming back in a big way. One film a year, Star Wars coming back at you. That's my guess.
Man,
I could see that.
Yeah, because another thing to say about these 3 movies, they are spaced out. Like when we first got the announcement, we're like, oh, that's a trilogy. And then we're like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
No, And these 3 movies seemingly have nothing to do with each other. So it would be really weird to think, like, I know it's not exactly the same, but picture them doing like a Rogue One, and then 2 years later they do Solo, and then 2 years later they do like a Kenobi movie or something. It's like, that's weird, right? So it does make me think that those are just interesting placeholders right now. But another thing so I reiterate that point. But Lacey, you were so close to saying my thoughts on the writer, Michael Waldron.
Well, I'm glad I didn't, because
Waldron.
now you can say them.
I mean, some fans might have even, like listeners might have gotten to that point before, but you didn't get there, which is he clearly... you said he works well writing fan favorite characters, ones that already have these long backstories and stuff. And my thought process was yes.
Solo?
Plus, no. Loki is played by Tom Hiddleston. And Tom Hiddleston has been fan cast for a very long time as Palpatine, a young Palpatine.
That's true.
And so if they think that this guy writes well for Tom Hiddleston, the actor, then there might be a pairing there that makes sense for what Kevin Feige, a longtime fan of the Star Wars franchise, has probably already had his longtime dream of doing, which is potentially producing a movie that's all about
the bad guy,
the character Palpatine. Yeah. I don't know.
That could be cool. I wasn't ever going to go there, so I'm glad you did.
Well, I thought you were getting so close. You're like, he's really good at this and this and this, and I was like,
I don't like
say
Palpatine,
he's good with working with
so...
Tom Hiddleston.
James, I actually have. I found a scan of a rough draft of one of Michael Waldron's scripts for his.
He's been drawing for like.
For his.
Is it called Shivi Babes: A Star Wars Story?
Here's that this was dropped off. I don't know where I found it, but it's confirmed. because this is on YouTube and on a podcast. This is real. This is the title of the Michael Waldron written, Kevin Feige produced movie about a young Palpatine.
You're really building this up.
So much setup, yeah. Sheevy babes, do it.
Do it. A Star Wars story. Sheevy babes.
John
So
would
there you
lose
have
it if they
folks.
made that announcement.
Oh, I think that would
No.
be wonderful. Are you kidding me? Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm McDermott's my guy, and I was very upset about the rumors about the Matt Smith. And when I heard he was out, and I was using that to claim he wasn't going to be in it because I knew he wasn't going to be in it, I thought that was really cool. But I like Tom Hiddleston, so I think that'd be kind of an interesting thing. I've been wanting them to explore the Plagueis thing, so that's a good theory, James, and whoever else out there who's tossing that around. But
I hate it because I hate Palpatine.
It's funny, when we started recording this pod, we're like, how are we going to talk about these stories? And now here we are. Because but
Here we are because we're a podcast.
But one
Sorry.
other thing. They when Solo happened and the box office didn't go where they wanted to, they're like, we're abandoning these spin-offs and these Solo one-shot films. And here we are, to your point, both of you. These movies look like they are standalones. Like Rogue Squadron appears to be its own thing. I don't think Patty Jenkins is making a Rogue Squadron trilogy.
Series of...
So that's its own thing. Taika, that's going to be his own little vacuum in space, literally. And then whatever is going on here. So are they going back? Are they saying, like, you know what, maybe we overreacted a bit. Maybe we did realize we made a huge mistake with how we marketed Solo, and it wasn't Solo's fault. It wasn't. What? Imagine all this talk we're doing about Solo on Disney Plus, and they just wind up coming back and doing a sequel. I don't know. It's not likely because obviously Kasdan and Ron Howard said not likely, but it seems like they are revisiting the idea of one-shot films.
That's where I thought James was going. I was like, oh, a Solo? And he was like, no.
Nah, Tom Hiddleston. Palpatine. All right, well, let's move on to Patty Jenkins then, because we brought her up a little bit in that. And as we're talking more about these stories or about these movies that are just set
James,
so far into
real
the
quick,
future, what?
How old would a young Palpatine be in that story? Would he be like a little kid, or would he be a Palpatine?
Really? That's what made you interrupt James? Are you kidding me? Go ahead, James.
Moving on. No,
I love their chemistry. 5 stars. Go ahead, James.
rate and review us on iTunes, everyone.
And Yelp.
Yeah. Does Spotify do reviews? I don't know. They probably do. No, but we're talking about these movies that are coming up and if they're connected and all this. And it looks like Patty Jenkins has said that she's just now finished, or they're wrapping up the treatment for Rogue Squadron. So I guess this basically kind of announced that she was doing this with Collider, and she was asked about it. But she says, eventually when we get the script ready and everything, I want those people to have their heyday. But right now we're just kind of at that stage. We're finishing up the treatment for the movie. So this is still a long ways away. But we can get excited about it a little bit as they move forward. So it's not just a pitch anymore. She got the pitch meeting and got the job, but now they're working towards actually building this universe and putting the treatment together. Lacey, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you think about her confirmation that they are nearing the end of this process?
Well, I think I was kind of confused because there's been so many of these little announcements from Patty where it's like, oh, she's talking about this. Oh, Chris Pine is talking about this. Oh, she's not saying this. So I, first of all, am super excited she's doing this movie. I've said this before. She was one of my picks in 2020 as a director I'd love to see do Star Wars. I can't wait to see where this movie ends up, and I hope everything goes according to plan. And I know it usually doesn't, but I hope everything goes smoothly for her. But yeah, my reaction initially to this story is like she's still very, very much in the early stages of this movie. I mean, if they're not even done with the script, they only have the treatment, which is like, this is what's going to happen. So they haven't written it yet, which is kind of crazy to me because I feel like when we get the announcement, we just kind of assume as fans, we're like, oh, they've got a script and they know who they don't know that much yet. So it's interesting to hear her be so open about the process. I think that's a little different than directors and Lucasfilm people that we've got in the past, that they're so kind of open early on. So I hope she keeps that up in the future as she goes through the process, unlike J.J. Abrams, who was like, I started a Twitter account. I'm going to post one picture.
Yeah, absolutely. John, what are your thoughts?
It's cool. I mean, the thing that keeps getting not shelved, but forgotten about in the early hype about this is that on that logo, it's clear to pretty much, I think everybody has confirmed looks like a T-65 X-Wing, but at the same time, this story is being said to be taking place in a future era. So it's beyond the days of the glory days of the Rogue Squadron of old. So are they finding these old X-Wings from a different set of legacy pilots and doing something with it that may be going against the grain of the New Republic, or who knows what happens beyond, if it's beyond Episode 9 and whatever that Republic is called. So all that stuff's interesting, and I guess that's what they're putting pen to paper now. I want to find out who's writing this thing. She's I don't know that she hyped it up, but because she hasn't said a lot about it, she's caused a hype about it by saying, I want to wait for them to have their stage to be revealed who it is. Now, it could just be blank, insert name here of writer that we don't know. And that could be fine because she wants to give a new writer their due and their moment.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that might be the case. Or they're like, hold off because this is another big PR thing we can get going. We don't want to double up with your announcement. Who
wrote Top Gun?
The original?
The newer one. Chris McQuarrie?
No. You guys can keep talking.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
So no, I mean it's cool to hear that she's finishing this up, and she in fairness she has so much time now because look about like when JJ took on Episode 9 in the fall, like September of 2017, and they didn't finish the script till February 2018.
Yeah.
That movie had to come out a year and 10 months from then. She has a whole year to finish the script, start shooting, and then have another year and for it to come out at the end of that year. So this is cool. I mean, this is fine. It seems like everything's on pace. I don't think people need to worry too much about the Wonder Woman 84 not getting a mixed bag review because, she has a big hit with Wonder Woman, the first one. Some people have hit or miss movies, and that's fine. I think this
is also coming from a personal place, like with her father, that this is going to have a different importance to her than Wonder Woman did.
I agree, but and that's not us saying, because I know people will say, well, you don't think Wonder Woman's important to her? That's not what we're saying.
I haven't seen 84. I loved the first one.
Yeah, I loved the first one, didn't like 84. But again, there's been movies of people I didn't like who end up making good. Like there's Ron Howard movies I don't like and I love his contribution to Star Wars. So it's cool. I think it's good, and it's one of those stories where hopefully it goes along without any hitches, and there's no production problems, and all that stuff is way in the past with Star Wars, and
right,
all down the line, Lacey.
There it is.
You guys will think this is funny. I looked at the writer for Top Gun Maverick is Peter Craig, and his known fors are going to be so divided between you two because he's known for writing The Town.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
And then he's also known for writing Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, I hated Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like
Mockingjay
John
Part 1 and
loves
2.
The Town, and I know Lacey is like Mockingjay down.
Mockingjay Part 1 and 2 were like literally marketing meetings. Like it was like, let's just sit in meetings for 2 hours. Ugh.
Honestly,
I still haven't seen them.
My favorite was the third book. I liked the third book.
Second book, second movie were my favorites.
They made books out of those movies?
Second movie is
so
second
good.
Movie is the best.
So good,
hands down.
So good, hands down.
Okay. Can I?
That's right.
Do people understand how awesome The Town is?
I've never seen it.
Are you kidding?
No.
You need to watch The Town.
I'll pass.
That is so stupid. Oh my God. You have
Why would you pass?
I'm just saying it to annoy him.
Okay. Because I mean, like, it's not like.
I think I own it. I just haven't seen it.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, just if somebody was like, hey, you will watch this movie and you will enjoy it, and you're like, I'll pass. It's like, why
I do it all the time, though. I have this weird thing that, like, people are like, you have to see this. And I'm like, nah.
Yeah, but you do that too.
I do that on TV
I'm saying
series,
I do
but
that.
not on movies, usually.
No, but you tell people they have to watch things.
I know. All the time.
Yeah. Gotta
John,
finish my Cobra Kai.
Oh, my God. It's so good.
I don't know if it was. I mean, I know you brought up the whole like Patty Jenkins and do we have to worry about her from the 1984 thing, but I did see something specifically that I was like, man, Star Wars really does have a bad track record of picking up. And I just off the top of my head, I was writing a couple down, like Josh Trank. And then he released Fantastic Four, and they were like, "Oh no, that's bad." And then Trevorrow, and then he released Book of Henry, and they were like, "Oh geez," and then he's mysteriously gone. And then Rian Johnson, they announced him for a big trilogy, and then Last Jedi happens, and they're like, and they're kind of not really doing anything with that. And now Benioff and Weiss, like, set to do a series of movies, and then season 8 drops, and they're like, maybe not.
Is it the Lucasfilm curse?
It feels like it's like when Patty Jenkins is announced, everybody's like, oh, she did Wonder Woman, that was great, we really liked it, we're excited about it. And then 84 drops, it's like is and they're like barely past the treatment stage. Is there enough time for Lucasfilm to be like, maybe we're not going to go ahead with this one? If
I'm a movie writer or director or producer and I get hired by Star Wars to make a movie, I'm not putting out my next projects.
Yeah, that's good. That's
just
good.
hold.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you like that one? I'm done until we start Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah. Book of Henry can go on a shelf. That is not
on the bookshelf
by any means. Yeah. Bookshelf of Henry.
Exactly.
So moving on to our next story, and this one's kind of interesting. So there's a person named Jim Hill, and he is kind of a Disney insider. He has his own podcast, and he's been involved with a lot of other programs and other sorts of media and publicity. And he recently said that he believes that Galaxy's Edge, the theme park, is going to be moving in a direction that's a little less like this very specific era, but a little more widespread Star Wars. And part of the big move to this direction is that they're going to anticipate bringing in some of the successful characters, such as the Mandalorian, right? And some of the characters from that show, and potentially other characters from other properties, bringing us kind of back to that just generic Star Wars, and it doesn't really have to be a story. I have my feelings on this story, but I want to hear John's take on it first.
I actually want to hear your take first, James, because you're the only one that's been to Galaxy's Edge.
That's a good point, yeah.
My thought on this, just to get started right away, is that number one, I have a history with this person because they not like in person, but
is it an event?
No, there was someone who I was talking to regularly who came to my work, and we would talk about Disney, and because he was huge into Disney, big collector, he listened to all the stories, he always knew the news. And the longer I talked to him, I was kind of certain that he was getting bad information. He was a person that was regularly like listening to someone that was not telling stories, but things weren't panning out, you know? And it just seemed like I was kind of like, man, I don't know about that. And I know that the one he always led me to was Jim Hill. And I listened to Jim Hill a couple times, and I was like, I don't like this guy. Not like I don't like him personally, but like I don't like the way he speculates as fact, I felt. So when I heard this, my first thoughts are, well, it's coming from Jim Hill. Now, granted, he has a long history of getting things right, I assume, because people listen to him in some degree. But the story just initially, I'm like, no, this has vibes of Lucasfilm is decanonizing the sequel trilogy and they're starting over. Like, we're erasing all of our plans and everything that we've built up Galaxy's Edge to be, because it's quote unquote like not working, and we want to be able to do stuff. It's like they knew from the get-go that this is the plan and this is how it was going to work for a very long time, for decades. For them to be backing out of this, 3 or 4 years into it, I have to call bunk. I don't think any of this is true, but it's a rumor. So I feel like I have that liberty, and it's not a report. Now I could be wrong, and I think it would be cool to see Din Djarin at the park. I would gladly get my picture taken with him, and I would think it would be cool for them to expand into other worlds and other characters and things. I'm not opposed to that. I just don't think that's the plan, and I don't think they're gonna move away from that.
I think that this story might be true, but not the way that he's presenting it. I think that the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and Grogu will make their ways to the parks because it's money. I don't think they're going to go into Galaxy's Edge. I think they're going to go into Launch Bay. Because Launch Bay has Kylo Ren and Chewbacca and BB-8 and Darth Vader as photo ops. They could easily switch out those rooms, make them Mandalorian and Grogu, and put Grogu on a little post animatronic like they do with BB-8 and Baby Groot that you can take pictures with. And I think it's an easy way to work Mandalorian in and have him in the parks, and people still go to Star Tours, and you could work in some Mandalorian, maybe levels of or worlds into Star Tours, and then it doesn't touch Galaxy's Edge whatsoever. They've built Galaxy's Edge as something very specific. That doesn't mean that they're erasing what they're doing by having these characters there. Like you said, James, I think that's the thing that I'm like, what? You have all different princesses walking down Main Street, USA. That doesn't mean that Elsa lives on Main Street, USA. Like, come on, guys. Have a little bit of separation here.
Yeah.
But I'm just, when I hear, look, I love Disney. I'm a huge Disney fan, have been my whole life. It's part of me. But I don't think that Galaxy's Edge should be treated as this magical world, kind of like Harry Potter. And I think that's what people are treating it like, because at the end of the day, it's still part of Disney. And they still have Star Tours and Launch Bay, so you can't automatically assume they're going to erase things they have planned. Yeah, they might bring in shows and stuff. That doesn't mean they're removing canon, you know? It's just kind of crazy.
And I think you're right that the ability to bring in the Mandalorian makes sense, like what you're saying at Launch Bay and stuff. I just think if you were to have Mandalorian walking around the Galaxy's Edge like area,
still fine.
Then all of a sudden, because to me that's like, yeah, Elsa doesn't live on Main Street, but you're never going to see Elsa in Tomorrowland.
Okay,
she
that's
doesn't
fair.
fit there.
That's fair.
So I'm fine with the character showing up at the park. That makes sense. They'd be stupid not to do it, but I would imagine that they would try to keep the world that they've built and keep them out of specific areas where they don't belong, if you will.
That's totally fair. Sorry, John. I didn't mean to usurp your time.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm
very passionate about Disney.
I've never been a big fan of this time-centric. This is when Galaxy's Edge happens. I actually think that idea is stupid. And no offense to the people who made it, but it just handcuffs them. And they've already kind of fumbled a bit because you got Kylo Ren running around with a mask on, which doesn't make sense if it takes place between episodes 8 and 9. You still have the Falcon with the rectangle dish on. We know that gets replaced because it broke off at the end of episode 8. So if you want to get all canon about it, it's already incorrect. Right. And I don't care. I'm just the devil's advocate. It's a theme park. I do not care. And that's my
Harry
point.
Potter is anytime too.
Yeah, so the devil's advocate for me is just bringing that up because there's already the inconsistency. So the people saying like, no, it takes place between it. It's a theme park, guys. You're buying cans of soda, Coca-Cola.
I really want that Jabba cup.
There's a gift shop.
That thing is so cool.
Like, let's just all calm down. So I think this very well could happen, and I would welcome it to happen. I think it would be really cool to have this, as they say, nebulous, not dated, but it's still Batu, but maybe on certain times it's Mandalorian themed, or certain times, and the Falcon's always there, but certain times it's Mandalorian themed. Like, it would be so cool to see the Razor Crest or whatever his next ship is there, maybe instead of Poe's X-Wing. or
That would
something,
be super cool.
and like add a new ride or something like that. Have Mandos and even like the Children of the Watch walking around. Have the Armorers section somewhere. I don't know. Like, I don't like the idea of like this.
John gets hired by Disney Imagineering armor section. I like that.
Section.
Yeah, we've never never thought of this before.
never thought of
Mandalorian at the theme park.
Yeah. But I guess, my point is like this obsession with canon in Star Wars, like there's a ceiling and I feel like our heads are mushed up right against it to the point where we need to blast through that glass and just take a breath and say, just stop.
Just have fun.
Just stop. Because it's great, and I love the idea of canon because it helps enhance the suspension of disbelief. And when they're telling the stories in the movies and the series, the animated, all that stuff, I like how they preserve that. That means a lot to me. Like the no recasting of Luke thing is a big thing for me. I like that they did what they did. But when it comes to a theme park and stuff, like we have to cut the line a little bit here. We have to remember this is it's a movie franchise. We got a theme park here. I mean, I haven't been to Galaxy's Edge yet. I know I'm gonna love it, but I'm of the ilk. I would have loved to have seen them make the bridge in Cloud City that I can go walk and see where Vader and Luke
Or
fought.
Ewok Village, yeah.
The Twin Sunset thing. Imagine they had a volume with a Twin Sunset, and you could be standing there with your foot up like Luke and hear the music and hear the wind blowing and feel like you were there where he was.
We should hire this guy.
That would be an incredible theme park experience instead of being like, there's Batuu and it's canon and it takes place before the thing. Come on. So I could see, in the long story short, I could see this happening. I would welcome it. And to me, it's not that big of a deal. If it doesn't happen, fine. I just want to go to Galaxy's Edge. So
People want pictures with Grogu. I'm telling you, Launch Bay is where it's going to happen.
Oh, that's you're going to see him on the rock or something. Or they're going to put him somewhere where they can move him around.
And he talks, yeah.
It just seems like, like you say, whether it's Launch Bay or not, they're going to inject Grogu into Galaxy's Edge somehow. They need money, like you said, Lacey. He's right now the new golden goose next to Vader.
Everybody loves him, yeah.
And wouldn't it be cool seeing Darth Vader march down Batuu? Like, come on. So
I would be cool with anybody, really. I mean, it's just fun.
Why not?
It's like Comic-Con. It's like you go there, you see all these characters together. It doesn't matter,
Yeah. So I think if they
but also,
chill on that, they can do a lot more things. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, but it would also be really cool to see Iron Man in Galaxy's Edge.
All right, James.
That's a little different,
Okay.
James.
It's not Star Wars. What are you talking about now? Now you're just now you're being
James.
James is being
I'm going
that
to
guy.
self-drive you out of this conversation.
Disney's like, we should hire this guy. Let's get Iron Man to star. They are talking about Robert Downey Jr. He's playing Thrawn, apparently, according to everybody.
He's playing
right?
every character, apparently.
I tweeted out he's playing young Leia. That was my new one.
Yeah, no, I mean, I hear all those points, and like, had Galaxy's Edge been that, I don't know, like in a separate universe where they say, hey, what do you think the Galaxy's Edge park will be down the line? Do you think it will be something where they do like Tatooine and Endor and Cloud City and all this other nostalgia stuff? Or do you think it's going to be this brand new world that's like really restrictive in a certain era and all this other stuff? It doesn't make sense that they did, but they did. And that's the thing is I said, now that you've done it, it feels weird for you to break away from that.
Sure.
And that, only 3 years in, you're like, this was a big mistake. What were we thinking?
Well,
like,
I'm not saying completely overhaul it, James, though. I'm just saying, like, why make it between episodes 8 and 9 forever?
I also agree with John's point of, and I keep going back to this because it's the obvious connection of theme park experiences. When you go to Harry Potter worlds, the two lands of Harry Potter, you're in those sets that were used kind of in the movie. Like, they're replicas of what's in the book and on screen.
Yeah.
So when you're there, you're like, I'm at this shop. I'm at Hogwarts. I'm in these places.
Right.
And I think that there is a disconnect for maybe not hardcore Star Wars fans like us, but for the general audience where you're like, okay, where is this? Where am I supposed to be? Instead of saying like, I'm in this thing that we know of. But it's a tough thing to do because what do you do for Star Wars? Do you do a desert?
Yeah, that's the thing that I always thought was kind of weird sometimes is like understanding when you go to a theme park, you're like, oh, I'm really at this place. And I'm like, but I'm not. And it's kind of weird. Like, how would I have access to this guy's secret lair or something like that? I don't know. I think that's weird. So I think their idea here was like to create a new world that is like what people often compare to the Mandalorian. They're like, there's no baggage. It immediately is like a brand new thing, and we're all on the same page. Like, so when you go, it's like visiting Batuu, and for a lot of people, it is like a brand new Star Wars experience that feels Star Wars, but it's new to them, and they can create their own memories with that world. But to anybody who is paying attention, like myself, I read about Oga's Cantina and then went there.
Yeah.
So sure. I'm just saying it's a little different when you see Harry Potter on
0.0001% of people
on the screen, and you're like, I'm in the Three Broomsticks. Yeah, I'm eating there.
And I guess my last point on it is back to that old adage I try to press it. It's not all or nothing for me. It's like I can embrace Galaxy's Edge as it is now, and when I go, I'm probably gonna tear up when I see the Falcon and be very immersed and get lost in that world and love it. But at the same time, say like maybe they overthink things a little bit, and give me Mos Eisley Cantina. Give me moments from the movies that we can walk in and be in for a little bit. Or maybe that's something they can do in addition to Galaxy's Edge as a separate thing. I'm just saying, like...
Yeah, they could expand the park, and then it's like, that's Galaxy's Edge, that's Batuu. Over here are some other fun Star Wars experiences.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I just want to go. I just want to go.
Yeah, well, speaking of going, we need to get going because we're running on time. A few other things that I just wanted to mention really quick is that the Mandalorian Season 2 finale did update their credits to add a memoriam for the original Boba Fett Jeremy Bulloch. So
rest in peace.
That's kind of when they have that opportunity. It's probably usually a good time to actually take it.
I agree with that change.
Backdate a change. Yeah,
that's a classy gesture. Yeah.
Not the jeans guy. He should have stayed. But this, I agree with.
The other quick thing is that, the High Republic is officially here. And, we can talk a little bit more about it on other shows as the books and other things continue to come out. But I did want to mention really quick that if you are someone who is interested, if you've read the books and you want to check out our book discussions, me and Kyle Larson, who's also a pundit here at Star Wars Newsnet, a writer for us, we sit down and we kind of talk about the first two books that came out from the High Republic and had a good discussion on them. As well as if you are someone who plans on not reading the books, it's just too time consuming, too much money, or maybe you read them now, but in 3 years from now, you're going to be like, what the heck happened in that book? We also did like these brief summaries that kind of tell you just in 10 or 15 minutes, like what happened in this book so that you don't have to read it, but you kind of have an understanding of what's going on in that world. Yeah. So if you want to check those things out, be sure to do those. So that's 4 videos. 2 what happened for Light of the Jedi, and 2 for Test of Courage.
And I think
Justina Ireland.
Next week we'll talk about it a bit on the podcast because people need time to absorb this stuff, and people, another week will give more people time to read it and then listen to the podcast. So probably next Monday we'll give our thoughts on the story and stuff like that, and if James wants to weave in like real high detailed stuff. But those videos are great because those are definitely a good way to get caught up on what happened and that sort of thing. And again, that is no disrespect to the authors if you're not buying the book. Some people, like you said, don't have the money or don't have the time, but they want to be well engaged in the story. And but also the audiobooks are a provocative thing too. But yeah, we will talk about it probably next week on the podcast.
Yep. Well, cool. Well, that is it for the Resistance Report this week. Lacey, take us into our next section.
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So there are lots of different ways that you can support us. You can like, comment, and subscribe on this video on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN. You can follow us on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast, or follow us on any podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, etc. Or if you want more of us, you can head over to patreon.com/Resistance Broadcast. Starting at $2 a month, the tiers go up, and you can get more access from exclusive content and videos that we do weekly, polls, Discord servers, and much more. So this is the section of the show that we let our generals be a part of the show as their tier perk. So first I want to thank the generals. So thank you Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, Neil Shaw, David Probus, John Reese, Micah Harrison, Jetta Rosewater, Michael Gaines, Bethany, Russ Harbison, Kendall Gelnar, Paul Olson, Jake Hutchins, Jeff Connery, Oliver Lewis, and Val Trichkoff. Guys, wow. Thank you so much. I now have to take 3 breaths, so that's cool. It means a lot to us. So this week, we welcome back General MELO from España, and we asked him, did you like The Mandalorian Season 2 better than Season 1? Whether you did or didn't, explain why. He did ask for a spicy topic, so hopefully this was spicy enough. So, MELO, take it away.
Hello guys, and greetings from España. I know it's been a while since I've been on the show. I just want to say hello and hope everyone's okay and safe and pushing through in these hard times. Well, that was a really good question you guys sent me. And in reality, each season of The Mandalorian stands on its own. However, they're so much better together. I cannot pick a favorite because I really like how the story goes. Slow downs when it needs to slow down, and it goes fast when it needs to go fast. I felt every single episode in my heart, in my soul. I'm a fan. I'm sold, completely sold, even on Boba Fett. Well, that's all I have. Viva la Resistance.
Great job, MELO. It's awesome to see you back on the show.
Yeah.
We're so glad that you're doing well. So, John, what'd you think?
Yeah, MELO, it was really good to see you and hear from you. It's been a while, so I'm glad to see you're all right, man, over there holding it down for us in Spain. Are you the person who's been spreading the word about us? Because we're seeing a lot of Europe invasion into the Resistance base, so a lot of people picking us up over there. So if you are a part of that, spreading the word, maybe it's you writing our TRB in the beach all those times on the sand.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, buddy. But yeah, I mean, great answer. I like how deep it got for you, that each chapter kind of hit you right here. I feel that way about a lot of the chapters of The Mandalorian, especially the season 2 finale, without a doubt. So I thought you did a great job. You copped out a little on me by not picking one. But that,
I want a spicy topic. I love them all.
I love it all. Yeah. Figured Jetta would say something like that. But
yeah.
No, you're the man, MELO. Love you. I can't wait to hopefully see you again post pandemic. Miss those times we were hanging out and having those drinks and stuff. So my best to you and your family. Great job on the pod race. I agree. The Mandalorian's great. Keep bringing it on, and we'll see you around, buddy.
James.
Yep. MELO, my man. I want that jacket so bad.
It's a good jacket.
I'm like sitting there thinking like, okay, there he is. There's his pods. He's talking Mandalorian. Man, that jacket looks awesome. Yeah. So I just got pumped on that. Solid answer though. I mean, I think that's true. Absolutely. I think that's true for a lot of fans, especially watching The Mandalorian. It's like picking between your kids, which ones do you like? We're always going to sit there and kind of say our favorites. And if we had to choose, Lacey hates that one of these must go. Which one must go? One or two? And it's like, no, man. I mean, they mean different things, I love them both for different reasons. So I agree with the answer. Thanks for doing it. Thanks for being a general. And I'll see you next time.
MELO, great job. I agree with you that The Mandalorian Season 2 in particular really saved Boba Fett for me. I think for a long time I've been very about that character. And I explained why, because of the way he dies. He dies as a chump. But he came back fully developed into an awesome character. I think part of that is because of Robert Rodriguez. He took that character to a level that I didn't even know I needed, and then I got it, and I was like, oh, this is why people love him. I get it now. So I totally agree with you. So thank you so much for your support. Great answer. We hope to see you soon. Now, we're going to head to me for Resistance Transmissions. So Lacey? Thanks, Lacey. So guys, it's time for Resistance Transmissions. So as you guys know, every week John puts up a crazy, wacky situation on Twitter at RBATSWNN. And you guys give your answers. And I don't know what was said, what the scenario is. And we see how it goes. So this week we had the Mandalorian didn't know who Luke Skywalker was. Let's pretend Luke messes with Mando when he's asked who he was by giving him a wrong name. Mando, who are you? Luke blank. What does Luke say? All right. First up is Stephen Z. Smith at Stephen Z. Smith 88. Who said, Bonesaw is ready. Honestly, is so good. That character is my favorite part in that movie.
You gotta do the line.
I did it already.
No, the other line.
Bonesaw. Oh, I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
If I close my eyes, I honestly feel like I'm talking to Randy Savage right now.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
My favorite part
unreal
is
man.
the
like
his
people.
Interviews
and stuff.
I know, but the people in the audience with the cardboard saws going like, I need to do that for Halloween. Just
it does need to be said that go just for the heck of it. Go watch old wrestling promos of
I got you for
Randy
3
Savage.
minutes.
Dude, he's absolutely unreal. He's like, I got this bottle and it's right here. It's so weird. I'm not doing his voice, I'm just doing his I'm just doing his whole mannerism. It's so ridiculous.
That'll be your Schmodown character.
Oh jeez. I'm just gonna be like, hey, I don't have a character. What's up? All right. Rick Villanueva.
I love Netflix.
Hi. Rick Villanueva at Cadsbane Bounty. Hey, Rick. He said, Mando, who are you? Luke, I'm here to talk to you about the Razor Crest extended warranty.
Oh, man.
Mando. Just silence.
Silence.
He should take it out because at this point it's already blown up. But if they're willing to extend his warranty. Yeah.
Next is Logan Tesmer at Logan Tesmer.
Make it your handle, Logan.
Logan said, it is I, C-3PO. You probably don't recognize me because of the black glove.
That was clever.
Next is Mark at Decline Awakens. At Decline Awakens. And Mark said, I'm Boba Fett's rival's son's uncle.
That checks out.
Next is Jonathan Bose at Call Me Bozy. I like that,
Okay.
Jonathan.
Okay, Jonathan.
Okay, Bozy. He said, I'm Bo-Katan's sister's boyfriend's apprentice's son.
I'm looking at the other one and I'm like, I'm Boba Fett's rival's son. He's not Mace Windu's son's uncle.
What?
Come on, dude.
Next is Beer Fett Bethany at beer_Fett. Hey, Bethany. She actually was in Galaxy's Edge recently. It was like you had a great time.
Yeah, repping a Make Solo 2 Happen hoodie.
I know. I'm just saying, I think you had a great time.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Bethany,
She
you're
said,
awesome.
Jabba the Hutt Skywalker. Luke's like, oh wait, Luke's saying this.
That's a Rebels reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Andrew Espinal at, oh my God, Andrew, where have you been? At I Drew on You. It's been a while. He said, Joe mama, wait, psych, I can't, I can't because she dead. Ha, got him.
Oh.
Andrew.
Well, I guess in fairness, Luke can say that because his mama dead too.
Yeah, I guess. Next is Stephen Bowman at Stephen A. Bowman. Hey, Stephen. Stephen said, Mando, who are you? Luke, the question is, what am I? Mando, okay, what are you? Luke, I'm up dog. Mando, what's up dog? Luke winks at camera, cuts to black. Did it. All right. Next is Scott Gibson at Scott Gibby. Hey, Scott. Scott says, I'm literally all the Jedi. But he's not. He's not Rey.
Well, she wasn't a Jedi at that point.
That's true. And last but not least is Capt_Hooch at HoochCap.
What up, Jake?
Capt. Jake said, Mando, who are you? Luke pulls out a cheeseburger. I am Iron Man. What?
Oh. Have you seen Iron Man?
Yes.
Oh.
John laughs extra hard because it's a Favreau project.
Yeah.
Got me because it's a reference.
John loves it 3000. Thank you guys so much
It's so money.
for your answers.
Doesn't even know it.
Really, really appreciate it. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us at RBATSWNN on Twitter and look for the scenario. I almost said situation, but I didn't. Situation or scenario. All right, back to you, John.
Thank you, everyone, so much for listening or watching, being a part of TRB. Keep spreading the word. We are growing, and it's thanks to you. So if you have friends who like Star Wars, or maybe you just got into Star Wars from The Mandalorian or something.
Or don't like Star Wars, but hey, maybe we're just really cute.
Send them a link, and I pointed at myself for the audio listeners.
I know, but the best is the audio listeners are just going to hear silence. They're gonna be like,
dead air. They're really selling themselves. No, but yeah, send people links, share us with them. We really appreciate that. And subscribe to us. Like Lacey said before, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify is my personal favorite. What Up to Europe? Everyone's like really finding us over there, so that's so cool. Appreciate that. Of course, everyone
take
here
a
in the
shot
States.
every time John brings up Europe this episode.
Yeah, I'll start singing Final Countdown by Europe if you want me to.
You mean who up?
Who up?
You're up.
Oh,
It's happening. It's all happening. StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. Teespring.com/store/Resistance Broadcast. You got the Mando Fan Show Season 2 shirts. James has the TRB logo. We still have
I have a solo shirt from Disney. So.
we still have a limited supply of
Shop.Disney.com.
our Make Solo 2 Happen pins. Once they're sold out, they're gonna be gone. So go get your pin there.
My son took mine.
Teespring.com/Make Solo 2 Happen pin. And of course, all the Make Solo 2 Happen shirts. Pick your stuff up there. So we appreciate that support too. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, StarWarsNewsNet.com, and my other movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. Look us up on Apple and Spotify. James?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, both at Myra Trunks.
Nice. Lacey?
You can find me really excited about Thursday's guest on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin.
Now, Lacey, who is joining us on Thursday?
Paul, a.k.a. Carson Teva from The Mandalorian.
That's right.
And Kim's Convenience, which is really good, so go watch it.
Yeah, Paul Sun-Yun Lee is joining us on Thursday. We are so excited to have him on.
Our longest episode ever. Get ready.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag. We already talked to him, so we're really excited to show you guys.
Oh, they know that.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. You stayed till the end.
Speaking of that, what's our word of the day?
Europe, apparently.
Europe.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Europe. You're up. So
You're up.
leave a comment on YouTube or hit us up or quote tweet our episode on Twitter and just write Europe, and people will be like, what is it? Why does everyone keep doing that? I have to listen to the show now. And there you go. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance Broadcast. See you around, kids.
Bye. It's been a while.